Hey everybody, Uncle Rich here for Who's Telling the Truth. Today is March 23rd, 2015, and this is show 87, and the name of the show is An Honest Liar. And guys, this is, I want to introduce you to Lie-Free TV. I'm sorry, I had to get it in there. But guys, the reason why we're calling this show An Honest Liar is because the amazing Randy has just released his movie called An Honest Liar. So it's out in the theaters right now. So we're gonna give it a plug. We're gonna show you a trailer. And then we're going to show you clips on how the amazing Randy debunked Uri Geller years ago. And guys, I tell you, this is dramatic. And on Friday, I heard that James Van Prague was in Ridgefield. And I was almost tempted to go down there and watch some of his psychic readings. Because, you know, if you go back in the past, guys, we did a show called Psychics and Frauds. And I mean, we gave the Long Island Lolita, whatever her name is. We gave Sylvia Brown the Bada Bing. These guys are, they're evil people. But you know, so the amazing Randy is a magician he's in his 80s. And you know, the one thing that he'll tell you is he's gonna lie to you, but he's gonna do it honestly. And you know, he's not gonna, you know, he's gonna deceive you, but he's telling you he's gonna deceive you. And guys, you know, like I said, this is show 87. The ironic thing is, in show 83, we named that show Busted. And why? Because of Dr. Willie Hoxsoon. You know, they caught him with his hand in the cookie jar. And, you know, so we showed that. We showed the deception and the lies. And then on show 85, we called it Liars and Deniers. And we showed Mark Morano. We showed all the deniers. And then show 86 was Merchants of Doubt with Naomi Oreskes. So, guys, it's just the timing that, you know, all these movies are coming out, and I mean, where better to get the information from than Who's Telling the Truth, you know? But, you know, tonight, we're going to talk about a few other things that are coming out. First of all, the Koch brothers are running a commercial on Fox. And you guys know I watch a lot of Fox News, and I must have seen this commercial 10 times in the last week. And I was going to really give them the bada bing, but Jon Stewart did a clip on it. And guys, when we show you that clip, it's going to blow you away. And then tomorrow night, CNN is having a special on atheists. That's right. A 1 or 2 hour special. I'm not sure. It's going to be on atheists. We'll tell you about it. And what we're going to do to tell you about the atheists is we're going to show you a clip from The Unbelievers, which was done by Richard Dawkins and Lawrence Krauss, my favorite, Lawrence Krauss. And when you see, you know, what these guys are doing, I tell you, you're going to be impressed. And then there's an update. If you guys remember some shows back, we showed you clips from a movie that was being made that was being called The Brainwashing of My Dad. And this is a guy that listened to talk radio, and believe it or not, he got brainwashed. And people are gonna say, oh, you know, Rich, that's not possible. Well, guys, we're gonna show you tonight how it works, and she's gotten the funding. So now she's gonna be able to finish the movie. Now, you know, on this show, there's one thing we want to bring up on this show, and that's one fact. So guys, this is the one fact that we want to come across with tonight, And guys, Boston had the snowiest season on record. They blew away. Nice, Judy. That's the way to do it. I mean, and you know what we say on this show all the time, guys? When superstorms become the norm, that means that something's wrong. It's that simple. I mean, we're starting to see almost a domino effect. Now, if you're going to say, you know, Rich, you really can't, that doesn't prove anything. Guys, you know what? After a while, stop swimming upstream. You know, it's never had that much snow. Now, you know, I got to say hi to all my friends on Facebook, and we're going to do some shout-outs tonight, and I got to say hi to Uncle Joey, because, you know, Uncle Joey, he's a denier, and he refuses to believe anything. But, you know, the point that I want to try to make with these superstorms, and, you know, it's like the snow just never ended in Boston. And guys, I went to school there for 2 years. I think it snowed once or twice. I mean, but they had almost 10 feet of snow. They didn't know where to put the snow after a while. So when things are dramatically different, when things aren't normal anymore, what's happening, Joe? When things don't seem to stay the same, what's happening, Joe? Come on, try to spit it out. When the climate's in a state of transition, what's happening, Joe? Come on, spit it out, Joe. I know you can do it. Come on, spit it out. You could say it. Come on, Joe. Change. Come on, Joe. Say it now, one time. Climate change. You're gonna feel a liberation, Joe. You know? And Joe, tonight, you can say that on this show, you're going to be the first person to come out of the climate change closet. Uncle Joe will give you an award coming out of the climate change closet. Hey, Joe, I want to thank you. Guys, I give Joe to business all the time, but I tell you, when I blog back and forth with him, I learn things, and it helps me. And hopefully Joe's learning things, because he's got to learn to stop swimming upstream. And you know what? When it comes to Joe, and when it comes to President Obama, there's only one thing I got to say. Judy, there's only one thing I got to say. The first clip, Judy. There we go.
Thanks, Obama.
Thanks, Obama.
Judy, can you play it again for us? Because the timing was a little off. Just play it again. There you go.
Thanks, Obama.
Thanks, Obama.
Guys, Uncle Joe thinks that everything is Obama's fault. When his snowplow broke, it was Obama's fault. When his chainsaw didn't work properly, it was Obama's fault. Joe blames everything on Obama, and it drives me nuts because it's nonstop. But when you're a conservative, you know, you have to think of things differently. And guys, in that clip, Obama was giving himself the business. So, I mean, you know, he's in with the program. He understands. You know, you got to go with the flow a little bit. But the one thing that Joe never gets, he just never quite understands it. He always seems to be on the opposite end. And, you know, Obama just recently came out, and he wanted to get people to vote. And he was asking them to vote. And I tell you, as bright as he is, he just doesn't get it. When you want people to do something, you have to ask them to do the opposite. Now, remember when Michelle Obama wanted everybody to eat fruits and vegetables? And she said, you know, I want everybody, you know, just eat a nice salad, have some celery, you know, some fruits, some vegetables. And what did Fox News and what did all the conservatives have to say? She's trying to take away my freedom. She wants me to eat all these fruits and vegetables. I'm not going to eat the fruits, and I'm going to eat whatever I want. I'll eat as many donuts as I can from Chris, and she's not going to take away my freedom. And I'm not going to keep screaming because my wife's going to page me and say, stop it. But anyway, guys, so if you want somebody to get somebody to stop something, tell them to do the opposite. Now, Michelle Obama came out and she wanted people to hydrate themselves. She said, I want you to drink a lot of water. But what she should have said was, I don't want anybody to drink any water. We want you to refrain from drinking water, and everybody would have went nuts. She's trying to take away my freedom. I'll drink as much water as I possibly can. And what'll happen is after a couple of weeks, when these boneheads, these simple folk, start drinking all this water and they start feeling a little bit better, maybe they'll say to themselves, geez, you know, all that water, I'm starting to feel like having some fresh fruits and vegetables. But guys, you have to tell a conservative the opposite of what you want them to do. And Judy, can you show us that next still with the Titanic sinking there? See, when people say climate change isn't happening because it's snowing where they are, they'll just make up a statement like the ship can't be sinking, my end just rose 200 feet. All right, Judy, you can come back to me. But guys, that's virtually what we're dealing with. And with Uncle Joey, you know, for some reason, he's programmed. And whatever Obama says, he's programmed to think the opposite. So if Obama wants him, you know, not to drink water, he should tell him to drink it. You get the idea. But guys, you know, tonight, we're talking about the brainwashing of people. And you're going to say, Rich, you know, people aren't being brainwashed. And guys, we're going to play a clip now with Senator Rick Santorum. And this is a woman that's going to ask a question. And I want you to listen very carefully to this question, and you tell me what you think about the person that's asking it. So, Judy, hit it.
Why is the Congress rolling over and letting this communist dictator destroy my country? Y'all know what he is, and I know what he is. I want him out of the White House. He's not a citizen. He could have been removed a long time ago.
Guys, you heard it. Obama's a communist dictator, and he's not a citizen. Now, where does somebody get that kind of idea? You have to be brainwashed. I mean, a normal thinking, rational individual would not say something like that. Now, because we're always fair and balanced, and because we always want to find out who's telling the truth, we're going to play the whole clip in its entirety now. And you can see we didn't pull any punches. She identifies herself. She gives her name. She says who she is. And you listen to it, and you be the judge. You make the decision. So, Judy, hit it.
Senator Santorum, thank you for being here. I'm Virginia Ellisor, a retired school teacher, lifelong political activist, and lifelong resident of South Carolina. I'll ask you the same question I asked Senator Cruz. And
Judy, can I get volume out here?
Saying, Michelle Bachmann, I think it was King, said that Boehner made a deal. My question is on defending this country. Thank you for what you do for national security. I'm concerned about sealing these borders and protecting the United States. I've fought that battle all my life. Thank you. And I'm losing, and it's because I'm not getting help from my Congress. And anyway, Michelle Bachmann and King, in an interview on one of the stations, said that Boehner made a deal with Obama back in September to be on board with his executive amnesty. The American people put the Republicans back in office in the House and the Senate, and the two things we asked y'all to do were shut down Obama's executive amnesty and shut down Obamacare. And you didn't, you let us down on both issues. Why is the Congress rolling over and letting this communist dictator destroy my country? Y'all know what he is, and I know what he is. I want him out of the White House. He's not a citizen. He could have been removed a long time ago. Larry Clayman's the one that got the judge to say that the executive amnesty is illegal. Everything he does is illegal. He's trying to destroy the United States. The Congress knows this. What kind of games is the Congress of the United States playing with the citizens of the United States? Y'all need to work for us, not for the lobbyists that pay your salaries. Amen. Get on board. Well, let's stop all this and save America. You know, what's going on, Senator Santorum? Where do we go from here? Ted told me I've got to wait now until the next election. I don't think the country will be around for the next election. Obama tried to blow up a nuke in Charleston a few months ago, and the three admirals and generals, he has totally destroyed our military. He's fired all the generals and all the admirals that said they wouldn't fire on the American people if you asked them to do so, if he wanted to take the guns away from them. This man is a communist dictator. We need him out of that White House now. And the Congress of the United States is the only one. We've lost our Congress. We've lost our executive.
Ma'am, I would ask you please to allow the senator to answer the question.
I got your question.
You've made the question clear. Please let him answer.
Okay, okay. First off.
Wow. People like that vote? I mean, that's pretty scary. Now, you know, when Santorum was standing there, it's like he was saying, oh, brother, I got to deal with this. You can't pay me enough money to do this. But, you know, first off, the first thing I would have said to her name was Virginia. First off, I would have said, Virginia, have you taken your medication today? That was the first question I'd ask her. The second, first off, I'd ask her is, I'd tell her, I'd say, Virginia, you need to stop watching Fox News. I mean, really, it's like, you know, you can hear all she's doing is repeating the talking points. And the third thing, first off, you got to stop listening to hate radio. I mean, because I can hear Rush Limbaugh in your voice. I mean, you must be a real ditto head. And I feel sorry for these people because, you know, you could say, I mean, you could see that they've been brainwashed. And, you know, I mean, it's, you know, well, guys, the best way to explain it is, we'll let the video explain it. And when you see this, you'll go, wow, I never really thought that this was possible in America. So, Judy, let's watch the next one.
Black people has been an absolute disgrace.
Whether they're in jail or not, they are appropriating their own kind.
That's why we should go in there and stop them before they destroy our country.
Here was my dad with me when I was a baby. He really loved me. My dad was pretty goofy. All of the kids in the neighborhood really liked him. He was a really good dad. We came from humble roots, and he never had a bad word about any race or people or person. We weren't really a political family. My dad was a non-political Kennedy Democrat. Then in the 80s, when my dad started listening to talk radio, I saw my father change a lot. Suddenly, he didn't like black people, or poor people, or gay people, or Hispanics, or feminists, or lawyers, and Democrats, forget it. Hated them. And when he found Fox and discovered the internet, it was like he moved to another planet. What happened to Dad?
When we moved to Maryland, and he had a very long commute by car, would listen to the radio on the long drive. Then he started to change.
I can't take these screaming savages, whether they're in African Methodist Church whether they're in the streets, burning, robbing, looting. I've seen enough of it.
Quest to make women more like men, dress like us, acquire power like us, have careers like us.
Most people don't think about this, but talk radio is something, unlike a lot of other media, that's almost always done alone. People almost always listen to it alone. And they're listening to this one other person. And there's sort of a personal thing there and a connection.
Pretty much the first thing I looked into was Roger Ailes' blueprint for Fox News from the Nixon days called A Plan for Putting the GOP on TV News. I also learned about a confidential Lewis Powell memo called Attack on the American Free Enterprise System.
What he claimed is that the whole world is the whole country is being taken over by the radical left. The government, the media, the universities, of course, everything's run by the far left.
These were right-wing think tanks putting forward stuff that basically wasn't academically sound or intellectually sound, but had good propaganda value. You had groups that bashed liberal journalists, and then ultimately it led to the right-wing media itself.
Up till that period of my life, I never paid attention to politics. That's when I started reading the newspapers, listening to the radio, and that's how I became a Republican. Now that you asked me that question, I wondered how and when did that happen to me?
It wasn't the only dad this happened to. It happened to others, uncles, aunts, cousins, brothers. In fact, I found it to be a phenomenon. Nobody wants to say the word conspiracy, but all that means is it's a plan carried out in secret.
They had to get rid of liberalism. They had to put it down. Language is not neutral. And in politics, it's anything but neutral. And basically, conservatives have set up a very good marketing system.
It's really designed to create confusion, create misinformation, create fear. The Republican noise machine is one of the Republican Party sort of works in concert with Fox News, with Rush Limbaugh, with AM talk radio.
In asking the question, what happened to my dad, it's really like asking what happened to our media. And in asking what happened to our media, it's like asking what happened to our country. I met so many wonderful people along the way that helped me to understand so many things. And I asked myself, would it be possible for someone like my dad to be deprogrammed? As I continued my journey, I was about to find out.
Guys, you know, I could see it, I could really see it happening. I mean, if you spend a couple of hours a day listening to somebody, you start to develop a personal relationship with that person. And that's why sometimes when I listen to Rush, and I say, I can't believe that people are actually believing what he's saying, it's they believe him because Rush is their buddy. And their buddy wouldn't lie to them. Well, little do they know they're being hosed, you know? But this is part of what's going on here. And when people say, you know, people people aren't being brainwashed, they are. I mean, when you watch Fox News, it's amazing. The other day I'm watching, it was so cute. And the one guy comes on and he goes, this is on Fox News, and I forget who it is, I apologize. And the guy comes on and he goes, is this the day for the Clintons to come clean? And I said, oh man, what did they do now? It's like they robbed the Federal Reserve, or they held up are they gonna come, But what they do is they've already made the assumption that the Clintons are guilty, and they don't care. Because at Fox News, that's all they want to do. They don't want to inform you. They want to inflame you. And you get people like this guy that's, and guys like Uncle Joey. You know, they just don't question anything. And that's why we surround ourselves with the question marks. When somebody tells you something, where are you getting your information from? Who told you that? What are your sources? Be specific and give me your sources. All right, now, I told you Coke had a new commercial out, and guys, I saw, right before I left for the studio, it was actually on Fox News on the 5. So they're gonna indoctrinate us one way or the other. So Judy, hit it.
One of our nation's largest private companies is proudly built on American values and skill. Koch Industries started in the heartland and has expanded to nearly every state. Today, that means more than 60,000 American jobs. We're still branching out into new fields, but our vision has stayed the same, to provide innovations that help people improve their lives. You may not always see our name on the products you use, but we're working every day to help make better food, clothing, shelter, transportation, hygiene supplies, technologies, and other necessities. Here, we build on each other's ideas to create more opportunities for people everywhere. Together, we are Coke. Find out more at CokeCareers.com.
Now, guys, I don't know how much money Coke spends advertising on Fox. But it's one of those one hand washes the other deal. It's a reciprocating agreement. And it just doesn't end with these guys. They have no shame, no value. And like I said, I was going to give them the old bada bing, but who does it better? There's one master, and it's Jon Stewart. So, Judy, let's show Jon Stewart's take on this.
For the past couple of nights, we have noticed there is a new advertisement
Volume?
On the Daily Show program. No, it's not Arby's. They know they don't have to pay us for their numerous mentions. Arby's, for when you're wondering what it tastes like when a cow dies. Anyway, let's meet our new sponsor.
Koch Industries started in the heartland. We help make better food, clothing, shelter, technologies, and other necessities. We build on each other's ideas to create more opportunities for people everywhere. We are Coke.
Wow, that's the kind of an ad that a company usually makes when it turns out a byproduct of their manufacturing process is giving young pubescent males talking nipples. But you know, who are these lovable scamp Koch brothers?
Two of the world's richest billionaires, David Koch and his brother Charles, control Koch Industries, a global energy and manufacturing giant.
Oh, so it's a family business, kind of a mom and pop, second largest privately held corporation in the country. The point is this: two brothers working together. I like that. Unless it's obviously the Menendez brothers, and then these are not those kinds of brothers. Am I right?
They've used that wealth to back conservative causes.
The billionaire brothers are expected to spend some $290 million these midterms, mostly through their complicated web of dark money organizations.
Wow, I can see why they want to portray their people as working in a smile factory or as baby tailgaters. If you can smell this, you're too close. 1-800, how's my poopy diaper? Wow, so now that we know the Koch brothers are pouring an unending waterfall of money through a cleverly masked network of unaccountable organizations to peddle electoral influence, the ad sounds less inspiring.
We've expanded to nearly every state. Together, we are Coke.
All those who aren't Koch will be assigned to District B. The point is, clearly the Koch brothers are trying to say to our audience of not yet dying off voters, even though you may have heard certain things about the Koch brothers. How bad could they be? I mean, if they were evil, would a baby agree to appear in one of their advertisements? But of course, their ad did leave out a couple of very, very small points, most likely for lack of time. So to welcome them to the Daily Show advertising family, we did make some minor adjustments.
We're Koch Industries, not just an energy company. We're in your food, in your pants, and in your home. And if there's a way to monetize your thoughts, we'll find it. All while backing 17 shadow organizations to buy elections from Pennsylvania Avenue to Main Street. You won't always see our names on our campaign ads because the politicians we own say that's okay. With our heartfelt devotion to fossil fuels, we make your planet warmer and your water more flammable while lubricating your birds and rearranging your polar bears. We can't raise your little girl for you, but we can handpick her school board and approve her textbooks. And when she lands her first job, we'll be fighting to reduce the minimum wage because we actually believe it could lead to Nazism. Yeah, Nazism. We're that out there. We're Koch Industries, the next generation of robber barons, bending the democratic process to our will since 1980. Oh, and our brother David likes ballet.
Welcome. We'll be right back.
Bada bing! I tell you, he takes no prisoners. But guys, did you see where they fund their money? What the distribution point? What was the name of it? Freedom Partners. Everything with these guys is freedom. Why? They want to have the freedom to put carbon in the air. They want to have the freedom to put crap in the water. They want to have the freedom not to have to pay the price of cleaning this crap up. Because why? If they have to clean it up, it interferes with profits. And profits come before people. And guys, there's a new saying I just heard this week. Citizens come before corporations. It's that simple. But these guys think of one thing and one thing only, money and profit. And in the next clip, we're going to prove it to you. So Judy, hit it. Judy? You okay? Clip number 8.
You need a reminder about the dangers of unlimited money flowing into our political system. Look no further than the billionaire Koch brothers.
The Koch brothers are spending and organizing the spending of more money than almost anyone in history.
The Koch brothers' political network raised $400 million.
Their tentacles truly reach very far into the conservative movement.
They fund groups that work to impact federal, state, and even municipal elections.
The Koch family intends to escalate their total 2014 campaign spending to more than $125 million.
That's a significant increase. Can that have an impact?
Oh my gosh, a huge impact. We can't even wrap our minds around the kind of impact.
What do the Koch brothers expect to happen then? What is the payoff for the investment that they're making right now?
They want to roll back all sorts of regulations. They want to slash government spending.
Shredding the social safety net, kicking Americans off health care, and otherwise giving out handouts and making the life a lot easier for the oil and gas industry.
It's not the agenda of the average middle-class person in this country.
Guys, it's really simple. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. Any questions? And, this is the perfect time to give a shout out to our buddy Kurt, our sound man Kurt, who unfortunately is still in Bethel Healthcare. So Kurt, I hope everything's going well, buddy. We hope to have you back soon. And man, oh man, this thing seems to be lingering. But anyway, the next clip we're going to show you is the Koch brothers and their amazing climate denial machine. So Judy, hit it.
This is Charles and David Koch.
oil barons with personal fortunes of over $21 billion each. But perhaps their greatest achievement is helping convince the world that global warming doesn't exist. In the early 1990s, a scientific consensus began to emerge that burning fossil fuels, such as oil and coal, was changing the Earth's climate. In order to protect profits, these industries devised a plan to reposition global warming as a theory and not fact, and designed what a recent Greenpeace report dubbed the climate change denial machine.
It's a network of corporations and think tanks, front groups, who try to lie about the climate science, stop policies that will solve global warming. Of all the dirty energy money that's coming into Washington trying to influence policies, Coke is the worst. Coke is the largest donor, and nobody's ever heard of them.
The denial machine works like this. As citizens, we generally don't trust what energy industry representatives tell us about climate change. But we do trust these messages when given to us by experts or by our peers. In 2007, Coke paid scientists to publish a bogus study that polar bears weren't being affected by climate change. They've invested millions of dollars turning George Mason University into what Mother Jones magazine called a haven for climate deniers, and even underwritten denier conferences. But while the UN's Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change brought together over 600 authors from 40 countries for their latest report, renowned skeptic Steve Malloy admits that his side is vastly outnumbered.
It's really amazing, and it's really sort of a band of about 25 people, I guess, maybe a few more. And most recent polls show that more people feel more strongly on my side than on the Al Gore side.
So how has such a small minority overcome an almost total consensus among climate scientists? Here we come to the true genius of the denial machine, the echo chamber. In order to give the impression of a genuine scientific debate, the Kochs have funded dozens of supposedly independent think tanks, whose army of staffers disseminate this doubt throughout the media and launch coordinated attacks on real climate scientists. They've created Americans for Prosperity, who poses concerned citizens.
A stop in Wichita today for a national group on a hot air balloon tour.
The Hot Air Tour, a rally against what organizers call global warming alarmist legislation.
They fund business groups, women's groups, college groups, seniors groups, and even church groups, all adding to the chorus of climate denial. Add to this the tens of millions the Kochs have funneled into lobbying and political donations, and it's not hard to see why no political action has been taken. The denial machine, it can't change the science, but its brilliance in shaping public opinion has helped the Kochs' income soar, while the rest of us get taken for a ride.
Guys, why would the two richest guys in the world want to do what they're doing? I mean, to me, it just makes no sense. I mean, I can't understand why these guys are so bitter, where all the hate comes from. I mean, they hate their fellow Americans. It's that simple. They don't want anybody to have anything. I mean, they're the root of all the evil. Trust me. Now, we're running a little bit long here, so we're going to have to eliminate the section that we were going to do on atheists today. And we're going to move ahead with really what the show is all about, which is An Honest Liar, with the amazing Randy. So the first clip we're going to play is the trailer for the movie. And then we'll talk about it, and then we'll show you a few other things. So, Judy, let's have the first one, number 13. Hit it.
If I thought that any of this would be used, I would abandon the film entirely.
Gentlemen, I'm the Amazing Randy.
The Amazing Randy.
The Amazing Randy. Ta-da!
A conjurer, prestidigitator, liar, cheat, and fake.
The life of Harry Houdini reads very similar to the life of James Randi.
If you're going to get your head cut off, you go to the best guy. Amazing Randy was the best guy.
Randy, you've been going around the country trying to debunk those who say that it's psychic power.
I can't think of that technical term. Oh, yes, bullshit.
What I do is bending or breaking objects.
Uri Geller fooled the pants off them. It was astonishing.
Bend. Look.
Can you do the spoon bending trick?
Does Dolly Parton sleep on her back?
Do you know how many times Randy tried to ruin my career?
You've been taking a lot of medication.
Peter Popoff is a very dangerous man.
In the name of Jesus!
Popoff just seemed to be able to hear the voice of God and know all about people.
John 3784.
He wondered how he got the information.
I dressed as a security guard.
I appeared in disguise.
Randy is trying to say, this is a big hoax.
Duh. I'll take 2 8 right then.
That man that puts the fear of God into all those psychics. The amazing Randy!
The easiest way to be bigger than yourself is to lie.
I was terrified.
A man who's devoted his whole life to uncover real deception has at the center of his life a deception.
Only one of these people is sworn to tell the truth.
What a situation. No matter how smart or well-educated you are, you can be deceived.
Guys, so like we said, that's playing in selected theaters now, just started this week, and we're going to forge ahead. The next clip is going to be with Randy at the beginning of his career with Uri Geller. And I tell you, this is the type of stuff that I love, because if there's one thing that really drives me crazy is people that lie and cheat. And the psychics, you know, if you have a psychic ability, you know, the amazing Randy has had the $1 million challenge, where if you can prove that you're psychic, and you can prove it, you walk away with $1 million. He's had that event available to people for over like 20 years. Nobody's ever claimed the money. You know why? Because they're all frauds. And we're going to show you how fraudulent they really are. So Judy, hit it.
From the earliest days, man has believed that dreams and the supernatural are in some way real. All over the world, psychics demonstrate powers that their followers accept as modern-day miracles.
Мы расслабляем каждую клеточку своего сознания, каждую клеточку своего «я».
Here in Moscow, psychic healers treat the sick with chants and incantations.
А вдох наш еще медленнее.
And in the Philippines, psychic surgeons perform operations without knives. A metal spoon turns liquid in the hands of a psychic performer in Britain.
Yes, it's happening. It's happening.
Nearly everywhere, fortune tellers find the future in cards, crystal balls, and palms.
Only up to a point.
3 out of 4 Americans say they've had a psychic experience. Today, you can even find a psychic at the mall. Purveyors of the supernatural have created a multi-million-dollar industry. But are psychic phenomena what they appear to be? My name is James Randi, the amazing Randy. I'm a magician.
Okay, I have here a pen.
For the past 25 years, I've been investigating the claims of psychics.
A psychokinetic demonstration of a supernatural nature. Watch this.
Psychics often say that an object can be moved using only the power of the mind.
And it moves in a miracle fashion like that. Isn't that amazing? Stop. Stop.
Magicians can produce the same effect. Of course, I was just blowing on the pen. But a little suggestion and a little distraction go a long way. As a magician, there's nothing I like more than a well-executed illusion. Just look at what my friend Jamie Ian Swiss can do. But there are those who use magic tricks for more than entertainment. They convince people that what they do is real, that they have special powers. Magical thinking, is a slippery slope. Sometimes it's harmless enough, but other times it's quite dangerous. Personally, I'm opposed to that kind of fakery, so I have no reservations at all about exposing these people and their illusions for what they really are. I've investigated the claims of hundreds of psychics. People aren't always happy with my conclusions, but I do have my supporters. In 1986, I was honored with a MacArthur Award. Unfortunately, most of the prize money went into defending myself against a series of libel suits related to one of my earliest and most controversial investigations. The subject was Uri Geller, a young Israeli who claimed to have supernatural powers.
His remarkable affinity for metal and his psychic abilities are well documented all over the world.
In the early 1970s, Geller became a superstar, the most famous psychic in the world.
Okay, just a second, look at me. Visualize everything that you drew once more.
He claimed to read people's minds.
I'm gonna show what I got, and if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, but it really came very strong in. It could be two mountains with a round thing on, or two people.
Can I show?
Yeah, I'd like to. Am I wrong?
You're right.
I'm right. Good. That's what I got. Oh, that's.
He claimed to bend keys with his mind.
I know you're going to think this is a setup, friends, and old Tom has never conned you on anything. This guy is bending this key by rubbing it. It was bent at about a 1 degree angle when you started out, and it's coming up on 45 degrees now and still moving.
Are you thinking bend? Is that what you're doing?
Yes, I'm saying bend.
You're saying bend?
Yes.
Hard, soft?
No, I'm saying bend, 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 and sometimes I say bend, baby.
But Geller was best known for his way with spoons.
Hold the tip of the spoon very, very gently.
Okay.
What I'm doing is I'm trying to melt the metal down. Yes, you see, I feel it.
It's
yes,
going.
It's getting
I can
loose.
feel it. Yeah.
And there's no force at all in my hands. Yes, look what's
like
happening.
This. There's no force at all.
Look, the whole, you see, it's becoming like plastic.
The whole thing's ready to fall off.
It's, and touch it here where I'm stroking it. There is absolutely no...
That is eerie. I have a wisdom tooth.
If you can see, the metal is beginning to crack here.
It's breaking.
Yeah, you see what's... Look, it's becoming, it's like putty wax. You see? Look. And keep stroking it here. You see the... No, don't. You see the crack is becoming bigger.
Yep.
I melt the metal down, so I want it to bend. I just say bend.
Yeah, you melted it.
You see? Now, wait a minute. Keep stroking your keys more. And people at home, want your watches to start working, or if there is a radio that is broken, want it to start working. Television broken, just wanted all those broken things. Now,
what Geller was saying, effectively, was that wanting things could make them so. I felt that claim had to be challenged.
You know, guys, the funny thing is, I can remember when that was on TV. I mean, well, back then we didn't have much on TV. So, I mean, you know, and Uri Geller at the time, I mean, he was big. I mean, he was you know, a top shelf, like a David Copperfield. He was really big. And, you know, now we're just going to keep going ahead with the same clip, but you're going to see how he uncovers them. And then we're going to show you the reversal from Uri Geller. So, Judy, let's play the second part.
The media, even some scientists, were taking the Geller phenomena seriously. So I decided to show, for starters, that I could at least duplicate these effects using trickery. Now, a key can be displayed in such a way that it looks like it's bending. For example, just by stroking it, you'd swear that it's bending right up before your eyes. Magicians call this process ratcheting. But to do this, the key has to be bent in advance. The hard part, of course, is how to go about bending the key without letting them catch you. Now, there are several ways. I could, for example, take it and press the tip against the top of the table. That would do it. Or, in shifting my chair backwards or forwards, as I just did, I could have taken it and dropped it below the level of the table and pressed the tip on the chair I'm sitting on, which is exactly what I just did. Did I fool you? Mentalists have been duplicating hidden drawings for years. If Mr. Geller had chosen to use trickery, he could have used any of a number of techniques. One favorite involves turning your back and covering your eyes while the drawing is being made. Now, I've always wondered why you would cover your eyes while your back is turned. But melting metal is something else again. It's done something like this. And it gets soft. So I say to it, bend, 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 and it bends. Of course, it does take a little preparation. In fact, it takes a lot of preparation. Now, this isn't proof positive that other demonstrations aren't the result of supernatural power, but isn't this a more reasonable explanation? And then, of course, there was Mr. Geller's appearance on The Tonight Show. I got a call after they booked him to appear.
Would you welcome, please, Uri Geller.
Johnny had been a magician himself and was skeptical. I was asked to help prevent any trickery.
Nice to see you.
Thanks.
We have only met...
This scares me.
This scares you? Well, this is we just got some things together here. And
I told them to provide their own props and not to let Geller or his people anywhere near them.
Also, one of our staff members did some drawings which have been sealed in an envelope, and I'd like you to take your own pace when you feel like you want to try anything. Right. Do you want to try that particular experiment first?
When I'll feel free.
When you Sure.
We'll start eliminating the ones that do not have the water.
All right, without touching them.
He is really suspicious, you know. I'm having a hard time with you.
I don't mean to be, Yuri. I really don't.
Just keep looking. Okay, let me rest a little, all right?
All right.
You know, I'm surprised because before this program, your producer came and he read me at least 40 questions you're going to ask me.
Well, I can ask you all kinds of questions if you'd like me to ask you questions.
I have to have time, and
all right, we are back. Uri was telling me you don't feel what, strong tonight?
I don't feel strong. It's not all tonight. Right now I'm feeling being pressed, and then I can't.
Well, I'm not trying to press you. I really not.
No, you're only telling me, well, will you try that or that or that?
Well, I thought that was the idea of. No, I'm not trying to push you down.
Much to my surprise, the Tonight Show episode didn't have much effect on Uri Geller's career. Neither did the book that I wrote about him. But eventually, his star faded. Why people are so drawn to the irrational is something that has always puzzled me. I want to be, if I can, as sure of the world, the real world around me, as is possible. Now, you can only attain that to a certain degree, but I want the greatest degree of control. I've never involved myself in narcotics of any kind. I don't smoke. I don't drink, because that can easily just fuzz the edges of my rationality, fuzz the edges of my reasoning powers, and I want to be as aware as I possibly can. That means giving up a lot of fantasies that might be comforting in some ways, but I'm willing to give that up in order to live in an actually real world, as close as I can get to it.
So, guys, you could see he proved them a fraud. Now, the last clip, Uri Geller actually does a reversal. And he apologizes and he admits that he was deceiving everybody. He took everybody for a ride. We want to try to get this in. So Judy, hit it.
Hello, I'm James Randi, and I'd like to tell you briefly the history of Uri Geller. It's a long story, but we'll cut it down in length, mercifully. 35 years ago, he started to tell the world the story that he was a genuine psychic. But he's now decided to make a reversal of that. Let's examine it. Now, back in 1975, in my book, The Truth About Uri Geller, I gave Mr. Geller the opportunity to do a withdrawal from his claims that he had genuine psychic powers. I said that if he did that, I would set him up with a prominent agent in New York City so that he could become a practicing magician, an illusionist. And he certainly would get international tours out of that. He could have made an honest living from that point on, but he ignored that offer entirely. Instead, now, just recently, within the last couple of months, he's decided to do a reversal, to withdraw from his claim that he has genuine psychic powers. Well, Mr. Geller, that won't work. It's too late now. There are too many academic careers from universities all around the world of people who have been affected negatively. A short list: Russell Targ and Hal Puthoff from Stanford Research Institute at one time, Wilbur Franklin, John Hasted and John Taylor, Ted Baston, Andrea Puharich. Oh, the list goes on and on. These are academics who chose to believe that Geller was telling them the truth. He said he was. He said, "I'm not a magician. I've never done magic tricks. I can't do magic tricks. I've always been the real thing. I have genuine supernatural powers." And they naively chose to believe him. And their careers were negatively affected, in some cases very seriously. Now, you can forget the teeny boppers. The teeny boppers sort of went along with Geller. They were titillated by him, and he probably made a good living from their support. But they're not the important people. The important agencies here are the national governments, other organizations, universities, research agencies that spent millions of dollars to investigate what was known as the Geller effect. They chose to believe that Geller was not lying to them when he said he had genuine psychic powers. He even said at one point that he got his powers, I hope you're ready for this, from the planet Huba. Who knows where Huba is? It's in some extragalactic area, I don't know. But he said that an angel of some sort appeared to him when he was a mere child in his garden and gave
it completely, but I tell you, the guy's a fraud, and at least he manned up, and he admitted it. Some people can't man up, right, Uncle Joe? Some people can't read a chart. That's all you have to do, is be honest with yourself and read a chart. We'll see you next week, guys. Have a good one.
Keep going.
Keep going. Okay, we should have, well, how much time do we have?
How much time we got?
It's off now.